YouTubers, BitTubers, BitShooters, Mike Martin's here with the Mike Martin's channel. Guys, thanks for joining me. Okay, well, who's taking the cake? Who's taking the lead? Who's the lead of the pack for insolvencies rising across Canada? Well, we got a report here from Better Dwelling Canada. Better Dwelling, basically one of the very few good housing discussion gurus out there when it comes to actually taking numbers, cutting it with the big fat knife and trying to figure out what is happening and dissecting it across the board. And here it is, guys. Ontario takes the lead. It's Ontario, but we'll look at all the provinces. Ontario takes the lead as insolvency rise across Canada. Pay my bills. Canadian insolvencies made a big jump, and they might be accelerating. Office of Superintendent of Bankruptcy Canada, so it's coming from the horse's mouth. Data show that total insolvencies made a double-digit climb in October. A double-digit climb in October. Wow. The increase in filings is much faster than already strong growth seen over the past year. Canadian insolvencies rise over 13% in October. Total insolvencies, including consumers and businesses, are ripping higher across Canada. Ontario saw the biggest growth with 4,315 insolvencies filings in October, up 20.9% from last year. PEI, of all places, Prince Edward Island, follows with a much smaller 77 insolvencies, up 20.3% from last year. Nova Scotia comes in third with 606 insolvencies, up 17.4% from last year. Canada as a whole is 13,512 for the month, rising 13% from the year before. These three markets are showing much higher typical growth compared to the rest of the country. Like, you would have never figured, like, a small place like Prince Edward Island, it's a lot of old money, lots of generational living there. You would think that a lot of people own their property, their land, over time of generations, you know what I'm saying? So, Canadian insolvencies rise over 13% in October. Total, wait, I think I read this. Insolvencies up 20.9%, PEFL. Oh yeah, I just read that, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm just kind of excited to read this article. Canadian October insolvency. So here it is, guys. So this is from last year, 2018, October, and October 2019 in black. So they're up. Look at that. Quebec is first. It's up 4,514. And then Ontario. Wow, look at that gap. Look at that gap. Look at that gap in Delta. Look at that. It's up big time. 4,315. But look at the gap here. This Delta that you see right here. It's really gone up in Ontario. Alberta has gone up. British Columbia obviously has gone up. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, it's going up, but then Manitoba, you're seeing it revert. It's inverting. So you're seeing Manitoba is doing better because they have less insolvencies than they did last year. Newfoundland's doing better because they have less. And PEI leads the pack. Well, it's obviously because of the per capita, right? Only the provinces seeing insolvencies fall. Manitoba was the only province to see a decline with 302 insolvencies, like we saw here. There's a decline right there. With 302 insolvencies in October, down 1.6% from last year. Saskatchewan follows 372 insolvencies, up 7.2% from last year. Quebec showed a similar growth with 4,514 insolvencies, up 7.5% from last year as well. If you missed that, the biggest provincial declines are actually substantial growth. Over the past year, total insolvencies increased over 8%. Guys, this is a big deal. I don't even know why this is not front center, full stop news. Over the past 12-month period, there's been a robust growth in insolvencies. Newfoundland showed the largest increase of 3,224 insolvencies in the last 12 months, ending up in October at 16.7% compared to a year before. Alberta follows with 16,544 insolvencies, up 14.9%. Over the same period, Ontario has the third largest growth with 44,935 insolvencies, up 14.4% compared to a year before. To contrast, Canada as a whole had 139,194 insolvencies in the last 12 months, ending in October, up 8.8% from a year before. The top three are far overrepresented for growth. Wow, overrepresented. Canadian October insolvency growth. There it is again. Ontario leads the pack. Prince Edward Island, because per capita, right, guys? Nova Scotia, British Columbia, and then who's in negative territory? Who's in inversion? Manitoba. So there's a lot less people obviously filing. So Manitoba is the only one that's keeping its head above water. The rest of every other province is drowning. On the bottom of that stat was still see growth. Since every single province saw an increase. Saskatchewan showed the lowest growth of 3,476 insolvencies in the 12 months ending in October, up 0.6% from a year before. Quebec was just above with 44,871 insolvencies, up 1.8% from last year. Prince Edward Island comes in with the third smallest growth of 754 insolvencies, up 3.9% from last year. Other than Saskatchewan, and every region shown significant growth for insolvencies over the past 12 months. Many more Canadians are filing for insolvencies these days. Over the past year, there has been a substantial growth, especially like provinces like Ontario. More recently, insolvency growth has been coming in much higher, though. The acceleration comes, curiously, as credit growth starts to return. So credit growth is returning. People are borrowing more. People are using their homes as ATM machines, borrowing money from wherever they can to keep their head above water. And insolvencies are going to go up. Here's the problem with insolvencies, guys. It takes anywhere from 8 to 10 years to clear it, to reset your credit. Not only that, when you go insolvent, there's some things that follow you around for life. Depending on where you are living, there's some laws and provincial laws that actually follow you around for life. And not only that, a lot of businesses or employers do a background check to make sure you never gone bankrupt before they hire you. So that's something you need to look at too, and maybe talk to a financial or a bankruptcy advisor if you decide you want to do something like this. Always seek professional help. Always make sure you get all the information you need before you do something this big, because this is a huge mark that will be obviously marked against you for life. It's almost like you're in the black book, but be very careful, guys, with this. It's a very touchy subject, and there's a lot of people that bought at the wrong time, and there's a lot of people that are basically trying to keep up with the Joneses all across the Commonwealth, to keep up with either wealthy investors, to keep up with the Ponzi growth, Mickey Mouse housing market we have, all this stuff that's the melt up we're seeing now. House of price of housing is going up in Toronto, so in Melbourne, Australia, and so in Sydney, so in Vancouver. You're starting to see some trickle up. Why? Because we're seeing a melt up. Melt ups are happening all over the Commonwealth. Same thing in Dublin, and we'll see what happens in the next quarters in 2020. Oh my god, I almost said 2015. 2020. Guys, if you haven't yet, please don't forget to join the channel, and don't forget to subscribe. If you could click to join here and support the channel. Already got a few supporters. Don't forget to buy a mug or a t-shirt or a bag or a towel or a nice Mike of the Night hoodie. Really nice Mike of the Night hoodie, front and back. And guys, don't forget, tonight Mike in the Night will be discussing the fires in Australia. And it's been horrible what's happening in Australia, and it's not getting a lot of media attention outside of Australia. So we're gonna have call-ins tonight from people on the ground in Australia, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Let me know what you guys think about this article. Do you think it is what it is right now, and things are gonna kind of taper off and kind of control itself, or are you going to see more insolvencies in the future? Comment below. Look forward to reading your article. Thank you, Barry Dwelling, for actually posting this and giving us some insight on what's realistically happening in this Ponzi world of everything we're living in financially. Thanks for watching, guys.